So I was out drinking with my friends last night and wait, hold on. This isn't my room. Why am I even here? You know what? Let me get back to my old room and then we can continue on with the vlog, alright? Okay. This looks a lot more familiar. So let's get on with the vlog. So one of the things my friends and I discussed last night, or were talking about last night as we were drinking, was the fact that I have a lot of female friends on social media. And they were kind of curious as to how I was able to build up such a vast list of female friends on Facebook. So after waking up today, I thought, why not make a vlog or a video about that? In this video, I'll be talking about striking up a conversation and making a good first impression. So if there's something that you feel is interesting to you, please click or smash that subscribe button right now, as well as the notification bell, so I can keep you updated on future videos that talk about psychology, how the human mind works, human behavior, and dealing with the opposite sex. What's going on, everybody? My name is Neil Fernando, and today we'll be talking about confidence and how to make friends on social media. Social media is a wonderful thing because it allows us to not only connect with friends, it gives us the opportunity to make new ones. But despite having this wonderful platform that gives us the opportunity to make friends, it still boils down to two things. One, our ability to communicate, and two, the ability to make a good first impression. A good way of not screwing up our ability to communicate or make a good first impression is actually by asking questions. You ask the right set of questions, you get the right set of answers. The key factor in striking up a conversation is, besides asking the right set of questions, is to be honest when you're being asked as well. Because let's face facts, no one likes to be deceived, right? And with the number of guys that hit on women nowadays, I'm pretty sure these women that we're trying to impress can actually smell the bullshit from a mile away. Plus, honesty will save the both of you a lot of time. Trust me, because let's face facts. The primary reason that we're trying to initiate a conversation with someone is when we're trying to figure out if they're a compatible match for us, right? And this is in the hopes that we can find enough things in common with that other person, enough to jumpstart a hopefully romantic relationship. Aww. But you see, when we try to bullshit our way into a relationship, one of two things will happen. One, we will either get shut down because the female that we're trying to impress can easily read right through the bullshit. Or two, we'll only be prolonging the time that we will actually be getting to know each other by piling on a lot of bullshit. You see, the problem with most relationships is that, if not all, is that we have to go through what we call, or what's aptly called, a honeymoon stage. And it's in the stage that we do this song and dance back and forth with, well, for lack of a better term, I call it bullshit, because it's not really bullshit, but it's more like we're trying to put on the best foot forward, right? And the problem with that is it gives a false first impression on how we really are as a human being, because we've been made to believe for such a long time that first impressions last. But with the influx of a lot of information nowadays, especially on the internet, a good impression or a good first impression does not always necessarily last. Or if it does, it's not always going to work out for the best, or it's not always going to work out for you in the end. And after the dust has settled with all that song and dance from what we call the honeymoon stage, we're going to realize one thing. We're going to realize, oh my God, we don't really have anything in common at all. So you see where I'm getting at? By being honest from the very beginning, and by showing your true self from the very beginning, it's actually going to save the both of you, whoever your future partner may be, a lot of time and a lot of heartache. So when it comes to asking questions, the best thing to do is to not ask personal questions or questions that are too personal. Because if you do that right from the very beginning, you're going to sound like really, really creepy. And that's not something you want to do, or that's not the kind of impression you want to make on the very first attempt. You want to make an impact. You don't want to, well, being creepy can also make an impact, but what you want to do is to not sound creepy at all and get shut down right from the very first question. So what you want to do is focus on asking questions that are not too personal. You can ask questions like, so where are you from? But don't ask for too much detail. Like, if they give you an answer, and that's fine. Whatever answer it is, you gotta learn to accept that. You gotta learn to, be fine with whatever answers they're gonna give you. And you take it from there. What you want to do from the very beginning is that you want to try to get to know them, but not try to speed things up a bit. I mean, a lot of my female friends, they tell me about guys trying to reach out to them, on Facebook, sending a wave here and there. And the minute they start asking questions, it's odd, because a lot of us out there, we start asking questions, personal questions like, so where do you live? Or, hey, can I pick you up sometime and we can go out on a date? That's not something a woman likes to hear the very first time around. What they would rather want is for us to introduce ourselves. Give them an idea on who we are and what we're looking for, or the reason why we're initiating a conversation with them. So by being honest with whatever it is you're looking for, just tell them straight out, like, hey, I want to get to know you because I find you interesting, I find you pretty, and I'd like to see if we have enough things in common that we can talk about. Another thing to focus on when you're trying to initiate a conversation is by being polite, or try to be polite at the very least. Politeness gets your foot in the door. So if you're being polite, you're not being rude, they're going to be able to see that. Or if you're being rude by trying to force the issue or trying to speed things up by saying, hey, I find you pretty and I was wondering if I could ask you out on a date.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
That's not how women think, okay? Because you're basically trying to tell them, like, hey, I'm a creepy guy and I want to see you right now, like, immediately. And women, they'd be like, if you want to get to know me, or if you do want to take me out on a date, get to know me first and let me get to know you. Allow me to get to know you as well. So these are the basics of trying to initiate a conversation. Another good tip when trying to strike up a conversation is try to be funny. Hey, humor goes a long way, and women find guys who are funny 10 times more attractive than guys who are so uptight and so serious. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to try to break the ice as soon as possible by trying to make her laugh with, I don't know, a joke or two, or try to squeeze in a joke or two during the conversation, but make sure it's within context, okay? Don't make it like totally out of the blue and it's gonna seem like you're trying too hard to make a good first impression. As you're continuing on with the conversation with a woman, if the first few lines are the most crucial ones, so that's when you basically have to be honest, be polite, of course, and to ask the right set of questions to basically get the ball rolling. So in order for you to do that, stick with the basics, okay? Be polite, once again, thank them for accepting your friend request. I guess you want to start asking simple questions like, hey, what do you do? Oh, by the way, are you busy? Or can you spare like a few minutes of your time? And if they do say, yeah, I'm busy, and then you can follow it up with something like, okay, fair enough. Is it okay if I get back to you some other time? When would be a good time to get back to you? Or when are you usually online? Okay, these are basic questions that inform inform these women that you're not only polite, you're also willing to be patient with them and not necessarily force whatever it is that you wish to happen. Okay? Women don't really respond well to aggression. Men do.
Dalagang Pilipina he. Dalhin Pilipina he.
So what we want to do is to at least try to show whoever it is we're trying to communicate with or to initiate a conversation with that, hey, I'm here, I'm willing to listen, and I'm also a patient guy. All I'm asking is a few minutes of your time. Okay? You can even throw in a cheesy line or two, something like, I know I might not be the guy you're looking for, or based on what you've seen so far from my Facebook profile or from my pictures or from my photos, I might not be your ideal guy. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, give me a chance. You might like what you see, you might not like what you see. All I'm asking for is that you try me. So nothing's we can, give me a few minutes of your time. If I seem interesting, okay, then we can continue on with the conversation. If not, then, I'll thank you for your time and we can remain as acquaintances, and that's it. So there's really no wrong approach to striking up a conversation with a woman. It's really more just a matter of being polite, being patient, being honest, and cutting through all the bullshit. I've also learned that when chatting up with someone, especially if it's a woman, emojis work. Use emojis, okay? But don't use the really weird emojis like the farting puppy emoji, or if there's such an emoji. I mean, just use emojis. They help lighten up the conversation. They can help lighten up the mood, and I know that there's really no tone when it comes to chatting or when it comes to text or reading messages. But hey, that's why emojis were created, right? To help lighten up the mood or to help the other person give an idea on what we're feeling as we're chatting with them. So use emojis. They help a lot. So what you want to do when trying to make a good first impression is to always be honest. Ask the right set of questions. Don't be too aggressive. Don't try to push your way into the conversation. Don't try to be creepy by asking really personal questions like, hey, where do you live? Or what's your address? Or can I visit you sometime? These are questions that normal people don't ask. These are questions that stalkers ask, or stalkers like to think for themselves, or you know what I mean. So what you want to do, is you want to make a good first impression, not seem like a stalker in the making. If you liked the video, or if you liked what I talked about in the video, please do give it a thumbs up. And if you like what you see, and if you see what you like, please hit, click, or smash the subscribe button, as well as the notification bell, so I can keep you updated on future videos regarding psychology, human behavior, how the human mind works, and how to deal with the opposite sex.